I am indeed honored to have in my presence here in the studio two academics who need no introduction. It's a very daunting morning for to be surrounded by erudite scholars here at the SLBC, and they are going to talk to you about something very, very special for the University of Colombo. But before that, I need to formally introduce our distinguished guests this morning. I am delighted to have with me in our presence Senior Professor Upul Sonnadara, Dean of the Faculty of Science of the University of Colombo, and Dr. Chandana Aluthge, Senior Lecturer of the Department of Economics, the Faculty of Arts in the University of Colombo. A very good morning to you, Professor and Doctor.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us here. And the University of Colombo, the Faculty of Science and the Faculty of Arts is celebrating 100 years this year.
Yes.
And it's wonderful because it also coincides with, well, I wouldn't say coincides, but Radio Ceylon celebrated 95 years last year. And it's wonderful to have the two of you in the studio here this morning. So once again, thank you so much. And our listeners are going to be very, very happy and delighted because we do have a very select listenership, and they are going to walk down memory lane when you talk about the University of Colombo this morning. 100 years is a huge achievement. Let's start with the history, Professor.
Okay, thank you. And if you go back 100 years, actually the whole thing started, in 1921, they established University College of Ceylon, basically to train students to London examinations so that they could sit for that and get a tertiary education. So that time, of course, initially they started in 1921, arts and sciences. So the medical education exist in the country much before that, from 1870, I believe. And so later, after they introduced this, after many years, only 1942, actually, they established the faculties of science and the faculty of arts and the Faculty of Medicine, and that is combining the medical, science and arts. But that was done in many years after that, 1942.
And Dr. Chandana, yes, about the arts faculty.
Yes, I think we can boast ourselves. It is one of the oldest, maybe the oldest humanities faculty in humanities education. And later it was shifted to Peradeniya and then came back to Colombo. And now we have a very big faculty of arts with diverse subjects areas, and about arts faculty itself is a university, I would say. In comparison with other faculties, we have the largest number of undergraduates learning for different degrees, ranging from economics to sociology, and there are new areas that we have introduced over the years, like journalism, film studies, cinema, demography, even languages, Arabic, Pali, Sanskrit. It's a wider variety of subjects, and Colombo University as a whole has become a national university now. That another thing that we can be proud of. So we actually studied in the university, so if I add that period also into my career at the University of Colombo, so it spans, I think, about 30 years. In the case of professor, I think it's more than that probably, or maybe similar to that. So then I remember how I have that last 30 years memory line very vividly with me, how the university has formed and developed into the present form, and still it is growing, and I don't know where it would end finally. So maybe would become one of the greatest universities in the world, I guess.
Thank you for that, Dr. Chandana. And most importantly, science and arts, they are the foundation of society in a way. Because with the arts, you have culture, you have humanity, you have humaneness, and then with the sciences, especially today during the COVID-19 pandemic, we know how important science is. So if you could talk about what is planned or what is in store in terms of celebrating 100 years, if we can start with the science faculty, the programs that you are going to offer to celebrate 100 years, anything special, Professor?
Basically, because of the COVID epidemic, actually, we thought best would have been actually to have an exhibition, so that many students could have actually come physically to the university and see what we offer. But when we planned the activities, we realized actually this is not the time to bring students to the university. So rather than having a single one activity, what we have done is both the science and arts. We thought we will have series of activities.
Okay.
So actually January 21st, tomorrow, we are opening one building fully dedicated to students, so that just to mark the anniversary. So then we have a number of activities planned. For example, we have tree planting campaign where it goes through the Facebook to attract the new generation.
Yes.
So now I'm supposed to plant a tree and I'm supposed to challenge 5 more my friends,
okay,
so that they can challenge 5 more, things like that.
Okay.
So there are a number of activities we have planned like that. But science faculty, mainly tomorrow, we are planning to open one of the main buildings, and so that it will be dedicated students. Plus university they also have number of activities, and the arts, they have planned few activities.
Yes,
Dr. Chandana, if you could tell us a bit about the arts faculty.
In the case of arts faculty, we also have a series of activities, and among them, I think one of the most important activity that going to be Faculty of Arts is going to inaugurate the Disability Center. So now Colombo University over the years has become one of the leading universities to accommodate differently able young adults to the university, and we are expanding our facilities for such students, teaching, guiding them, and psychological. In fact, these days there is a program called Disability Sensitization Program. So I'm also involved in that. We are getting trained because we expect very soon the number of students with disabilities would hit 100 students a year. So then that is one of the major item tomorrow, and we also have tree planting to show us that we are socially responsible institute, and we also have exercise lab, because now we are going to venture into, before the science faculty comes in, we are going to venture into sports. It's a kind of competition among faculties sometimes, but at some point I think we would get together, because I think arts faculty is looking at the psychology of sports, and then probably we need more input from the science faculty to understand the mechanics and the biology of sports, and it's a good starting point to work together, to have a harmonious working environment among faculties. So it's a one very important development, especially in the last 20 years, I would say.
And Dr. Chandana and Professor, this tree planting, it's really interesting. If you could elaborate on that. So how is it going to work? Are you going to plant it in your private spaces and upload a picture? Or
that's right.
Okay, yes. If you could just talk a bit about that, it'll be very interesting to our listeners as well.
Yeah, science faculty, of course, these are young academics who planned it.
Okay.
So that particular activity, what we are going to do is that initially we are planning 4 trees at the university. And the Vice Chancellor, former Vice Chancellor, myself, and I believe Registrar.
Okay.
And then we will challenge 5 individuals. So we take the photograph and challenge 5 friends we have. And then they are supposed to plant 5, each one supposed to plant a tree and challenge 5 more individuals. But they are supposed to upload the picture to the Facebook showing. So that's the way it will cascade.
So you are blending social media and social responsibility as well.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things we discuss when we are planning activities, we realize that some of the activities when we plan, it is only for the university.
Yes.
So these are the activities we thought we will take it to the public. Now, for example, there's another activity we are planning, like a photography competition. Where public can get involved. And things like that we have planned, and we are opening our website tomorrow.
Okay.
There's a separate centenary website explaining each activity we are doing. And so when we complete the activity, that particular task will be completed. So, example, we are starting with the library building.
Yes.
They start with number of activities. Then the university has number of talks they have organized. And the evening we have actually whole tomorrow. If you come to the Colombo University website, you can see the whole program because we webcast. So anybody from outside can log into the website and look at the program and see what would happen tomorrow. They can look at it.
Yes. So you're blending technology with the celebrations.
Yes. And as Professor explained, it's kind of a WhatsApp viral activity. This tree planting going to be. It's a nice way of blending these new technologies in a better way. I would say, rather than distributing gossips and sometimes baseless things. And the other important thing is that in the afternoon, the central administration of the university is organizing a distinguished gathering, highly renowned academics, and I think government representation is also there. And that is starting at 8 and until 1 p.m. and until 1 p.m. we have series of activities the way Professor has explained. I think tree planting and that challenging different people, I think it's going to be very interesting and something very novel.
We are starting it at 8:45.
That's very interesting, Dr. Aluthge, because when you think of your academics, you be a bit scared of them. So, to actually have you, involved with social media is also something new.
And we are happy that Professor Sonnadara is a very friendly person because I know him for some time. I think that his philosophy is working with the other academics in the faculty. So it's a good idea. Actually, in the case of Faculty of Arts, we also have tree planting, and Colombo University we have a very limited space. So though it is conceptual, it's very big, but physically we have a very small space. So then we'll have to be very smart when we utilize the physical space. So then I think that go in hand with this tree planting at different places to commemorate 100-year anniversary of Colombo University is a very important and interesting a novel concept, I would say.
Yes, definitely. That's a very novel concept, and we will continue our discussion this morning. But before that, it's a musical interlude, and we are in conversation with Senior Professor Upul Sonnadara and Dr. Chandana Aluthge of the University of Colombo, celebrating 100 years of the Faculty of Science and the Faculty of Art. And we are in conversation with Senior Professor Upul Sonnadara, the Dean of the Faculty of Science of the University of Colombo, and Dr. Chandana Aluthge, Senior Lecturer of the Department of Economics of the Faculty of Arts, University of Colombo, because it's a very special year this year for the University of Colombo, the Faculty of Science and the Faculty of Arts celebrating 100 years. Senior Professor, you wanted to reiterate a bit more on the history of the University of Colombo. I think that will be very important to our listeners out there. So if you could reiterate on that a bit.
Yes, thank you. Actually, in 1921, when they started University of College, it took many years, like 1942. I earlier explained that they actually started University of Ceylon that time. So only 1942 actually science faculty and the Faculty of Arts they established with the Faculty of Medicine. But then it took many years for the university to become independent. I believe it was 1978 only University of Colombo formed. So in between actually there were a number of development, like for example science faculty, separate science faculty for Peradine was established I believe in 1961. And also the between 1967 to 73 period was quite interesting because you could actually go back the history and find that some of the academics who were senior academics in Colombo actually went to form departments and faculties in other universities, science faculties like Jawadanapura and Kalania. So that history is actually quite interesting to study because that's what we are now today.
Yes.
So in 21, actually, when they started the science and arts, one important component was the library. So maybe I can ask Chandan to talk about it a little bit.
Yes. So the history says, I'm just quoting from our university website. It says the library of the university at that time, the University College in 1921, was established through Sir P. Arunachalam's gift of his late son, Mr. A. Padmanabha's books were housed in a room at College House. So now that is, College House is I think it's a national or international heritage site, and it's a very we all are proud of that building, and so that was the original place where all this happened in 1921. So then the other important aspect is, I think Professor would elaborate on that now the latest library. Tomorrow, yes, Professor is going to inaugurate, and we are blessed to have futuristic and very diverse professors like Professor Sonnadara, because it's going to be a new trend in our university in addition to our big main library. So this is dedicated for science students with modern approach. I think that this is going to be a modern one of the modern libraries in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, today many students actually they are not really interested in borrowing books because of the new generation. They are looking at actually more they want e-books and things like that. So we are not looking at building a library with a lot of books, but we are looking at whether we can provide a lot of reading spaces or some areas that they can communicate, and also the computer facilities, and also of course the e-books. Those are the things we are looking at.
Yeah. And even I have seen in some other countries, because I am also involved in theatre, sometimes theatre activities happen, even book launches, in a very theatrical way. I have participated a few when I was a student in Holland. So these type of new things are because to attract as many students, people, public to the libraries, because it's a transition period.
Yes.
And it becomes even more relative because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Physical gathering in physical space, in spaces, is not promoted. So to have an e-library would make it that much more easier for the students engaged in higher studies.
Yes.
Talking about student opportunities, the University of Colombo has always been very progressive in terms of, as you mentioned, Doctor, in terms of the opportunities you have in terms of the field of study. If you could talk a bit about the student opportunities and in the future as well, how the University of Colombo, especially the Faculty of Science and the Faculty of Arts, your programs or your initiatives to be really out there for the students, especially those students who are sitting for their A-levels, and that period after your advanced level is a very difficult period for a student, because in terms of choosing what to study, because most of the time it is, as much as you have the prerogative to choose, sometimes it is chosen for you in terms of what you have to study. So student opportunities and increasing student opportunities will give the students much more autonomy in terms of what they want to do with their lives. So if you could talk a bit about student opportunities, that will be really great for the young audience out there.
So if you look at 1921, actually it was a very small number of students they took. I believe it was like 115 or something. And also it may have been from the very selective families, because it was through invitation they could come. And but of course, with the free education, things expanded. And today you find that science faculty, we are taking over 2,000 students. And people like students coming from normal families could actually sit for the A-level and come for the university, which is a real breakthrough when you look at the 100 years of history. And also since Colombo University, which is in a metropolitan area, so we are actually looking at giving subjects blended with the industry or the industry-related subject. So the A-level, since the students are doing physical sciences and biological sciences for the science streams, even in the university that separation is there. But we have 7 departments: plant sciences, zoology, chemistry, physics, statistics, mathematics, and of course nuclear science. That's a smaller department. So when they come to the physical or the biological sciences, they could select, basically if you're coming from biology stream, you have number of options. But first 2 years they study similar subjects. But of course the computer science, that is one of the changes we have done. 2001 we changed, you can study only in English in Colombo. There are no other mediums. And then another thing we introduced was any student could take computer science as a subject, because we believe in order to do science, IT is an important thing. I believe arts also is the same. So also we actually looked at the traditional subjects. Now I have done actually physics, but we evolved quite a bit, and now we have 30 specialized programs for undergraduate degree for them to do. So these 30 specialized programs actually looking at modern industry, like let's say traditional mathematics. We have financial mathematics now as a separate area, because the financial industry, you need people with mathematical background to forecast and model. So we have introduced similar things in different areas. That's why we have 30 specialization. I believe we are the only university science faculty having so many programs. We have like even the postgraduate education we have expanded. We have about 15 postgraduate programs, and we have about 400 students studying for our postgraduate programs.
Yes, similarly, the arts faculty has also evolved very rapidly, especially in the last 25 years, I would say. I remember when I entered the university in early mid 1980s. It was sort of a green university, a lot of trees and bushes and less buildings but more trees. We were amazed in the middle of the Colombo city. But now still we have trees, but now various buildings and departments, and arts faculty has adopted this new method of teaching, course unit system and blended learning. So now our students, they can study at wherever they are. They don't have to physically come to the university, especially during a period like this. And we have this learning management system, blended learning. It's utilizing cutting edge new technology for teaching learning, and new programs, new departments, and students who are coming to the Colombo University, they can actually start new subjects like psychology, sociology, demography, journalism, performing arts, the things that they haven't studied previously. So a lot of new areas that we have expanded into. So those are some of the advantage, and as Professor correctly pointed out that it's a metropolitan university in the metropolis, the heart of Sri Lanka. So then other advantages being in that highly competitive commercial city in Sri Lanka. So a lot of other exposure. That is very important for our young generation, exposure.
Yes,
because otherwise we will be confined into these buildings, but we will not see outside the world. So our students actually get that exposure a lot. And now, last night I was looking at reading the website Colombo University to see, get some more ideas. Now I have seen that the 10th faculty is going to be very soon established, that is Faculty of Engineering in Colombo University. So that means if you take the time span, every 10 years we have introduced at least one faculty. 10 faculties, 100 years, if you divide it among the periods. So then that the rate of progress registered in University of Colombo. So now we have ventured into nursing, technology, postgraduate studies. We have a dedicated faculty for that. In addition to traditional BA degree to PhD programs from various departments. We have from spiritual studies to Buddhism, Islamic, and Chinese, Sheng Shui, various things to ultra-modern science, physics and nuclear sciences. So
nanotechnology.
Yes, nanotechnology and biotechnology and all these new things are actually there. So it's actually very diverse. And we could say it's a true sense of place for exploration for anybody.
Thank you for that, Dr. Aluthge, and I think we are running out of time. So before we wind up this special program, if we could get your views on relevance. I think today with technology, information is available at our fingertips.
Yes.
And sometimes one might think, especially if you are very young, why do I need to go to a university? I mean, I can do something online. I can learn something, on my own. So where does the University of Colombo fit into this idea of relevance and being relevant in the 21st century?
Okay, if I may start, maybe in sciences, actually, one thing is that we should understand that knowledge is very important. And then when you look at the modern world or the today, actually, a lot of you need people with skills. So as a university, our primary objective is to produce skilled labor force. So we need to impart knowledge, and that is our primary objective. But as you said correctly, there are so many courses, Coursera and all that available. You can self-study certain things. But when you look at a university, actually you should not forget about the research side. So not only that, actually we are supposed to teach students, we are supposed to generate new knowledge. So how do you do that is through research. So actually we have a very strong research program in the university. And in addition, so the students actually normally they study basics initially, then they go into research. So through research only they really understand how you can apply things. So and also we are now focusing on of course the government also focusing on those things now, like product development. So that is the one going to contribute for the economy finally. Of course, the human resources are also important, contributing to the economy, but it will come in not direct, but that contribution is also there. So now, for example, the biocleaner you have heard about in the market today, that is actually the research done at Colombo University. So that's a good example I can give you where we are heading. So we have industry cell where they are looking at how we can involve researchers to develop various products. And also the early days, if you look at the cream went abroad and studied with maybe University of Oxford. Some of them studied with the Nobel laureates actually. Yes. Like J.J. Thomson or Paul Dirac, they studied with famous physicists or chemists. But today, actually, we realize those days, actually, when students went abroad, even my time, actually, when we did the honors degrees, 95% didn't come back. We all got the opportunity to go abroad. We didn't come back. But about maybe 10 years back, our salary structure changed. Yes. So now actually when we advertise, you can see US PhDs are applying to come back. So that's a major change I see. And the second thing is that what we have done is, in order to support the local industry, we have honors degrees 2 tracks. One is a research, other one is industry track. So through that, actually, we find that now actually there's a competition between the two. Sometimes students prefer, even the bright students want to do industry track because they want to stay here. Because our salary is also actually quite good now. So that is, I think, one of the changes we have done.
Yes, in the case of arts faculty, I think we are also under pressure to give a very skillful group of students going out of the university. So probably the traditional vision and the mission of universities are now challenged in that way. So nevertheless, we are trying. I think our motto is to impart critical thinking for our students. So I think that would be the main focus should be for the future, because now when you see the job market at a rapid pace, most of the traditional jobs are now fading from the market. Now, if you go to a bank, you could see that now earlier people were handling, but now machines are handling most of the work. So then that means what we need for the future is a person that could adapt to the situation and who could think creatively and have a critical inquiry of mind to find a solution for the issue that at that time. So then we are actually trying. It's a challenge, actually, I would say. Challenge because from many parts of the country people are requesting, so we need these skills, we need soft skills, we need communication skills, but on top of all these things, if you can't think, if you are not creative enough, exactly. if you don't have an open mind to see things in the most appropriate manner, correctly, so then I think the future is going to be difficult. So then we are embarking on that. to impart critical thinking skills for our students who are coming to the... I think most faculties actually doing that in a different way, especially humanities studies, because now there is an idea when you are graduated, especially you are a BA graduate, so then you should have a job. Yes, but we can say BA degree, it's not a qualification for a job. So then how you are going to find a job? So then you have to be a outstanding person in your mind, the way you communicate, the way you behave in the society. So these things actually we have to encourage. For that, I think we have done a lot of changes. The way we teach, the way our students are learning, and even they behave. So the whole, everything is now in transition, and we are progressing in that direction.
Thank you, Dr. Aluthge, for that message, and Senior Professor as well. Before we wind up the program, your message to the alumni and the students of the University of Colombo who are listening to this program, especially the alumni. 100 years is a wonderful achievement, especially for us in Sri Lanka, a small island nation. So your final parting message to the alumni and the students of the Faculty of Science and the Faculty of Arts of the University of Colombo.
I will just tell some experience I had, very short, small. I will take a little time. And basically, I went for an education forum maybe 10-15 years back. There actually we were discussing why students are not doing well in O-level mathematics. For example, mathematics is an important subject. So there we were discussing various ways, and then one gentleman there in the audience, he got up and said, although we say a lot of students are failing in mathematics O-level, a student knows a child can go to the shop and buy something and bring the correct change. So they know mathematics. But actually, if we are producing something like that today, he won't be not having a job. So we are not looking at producing people like that. We are trying to bring people with having knowledge. So what we are trying to push is that for the 20th century, you cannot be looking at students who goes to the shop and buy something and coming back. You need skills like the way Chandana mentioned. A lot of sensors are out there. A lot of things are automated. So those are the skills we need to impart. So if you want to gain that knowledge, Colombo is the right place to come.
It's a very good message, I would say. And I think our alumni, the past students, including ourselves, so we have actually contributed very positively. At that time, our contribution may be in question. But now, when you look back, and would say that all these contributions, and we had different struggles and various types of student activities, and even as staff members, we walked from Gold to Colombo, demanding to improve the education. So all these things actually contributed to become what we are today. I think so. A big thank to everybody, especially the alumni, for looking after the university so far, and we very sincerely encourage all of them to look after the university to the future, keeping hand with the government and other stakeholders.
Thank you so much for that message. And I'm not an alumni of the University of Colombo, but I'm an arts graduate myself. But I must say, yes, it was wonderful to be with you here today in the studio. And thank you so much, Senior Professor Upul Sonnadara and Dr. Chandana Aluthge of the Faculty of Arts and the Faculty of Science. Thank you so much for being with us here this morning, and for celebrating 100 years with the whole nation as well, because this is Radio Ceylon. As you know, you would have probably grown up with Radio Ceylon as well. So it's really wonderful to have you here this morning. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and it was really wonderful in the morning to have look at our memories and to discuss with them.
Yes, thank you, Mario. Actually, we really enjoyed being here, and thank you very much for having us.
And with that, we conclude this special program.